This gun was graciously provided by airsplat.com. If you want to know where to purchase this product for yourself, check the direct link down below in the video information. Hey guys, Jarek here, and welcome to my review of the KWC Gold Custom CZ75. The KWC CZ75 is distributed through Palco and Cybergun, so it comes in a usual overly flashy cardboard box, with outlandish claims like the gun firing 450 feet per second. It clearly doesn't fire that hot. On this box there's even a War Inc. sticker, which is a free-to-play game that is, honest to god, terrible. I made videos on it years ago on my video game account. Inside of the box you'll find a Palco warranty sheet. I recommend you keep this. An instruction manual that doesn't have a full takedown guide, so it's ultimately useless. A box of 0.2 gram BBs that are of questionable quality, so I wouldn't recommend using them. 2 Allen wrench keys, and a secondary base plate for the CO2 capsule in your magazine. KWC is my favorite gas blowback company. They go entirely under the radar for making good, reliable, hard-kicking CO2 blowback guns. Their Gold Custom CZ75 is no exception. CO2 is loaded into this gun like most other CO2 blowbacks. You unscrew a metal piece on the bottom of the magazine, slip in your CO2 capsule, and screw it back in until it gets punctured. Make sure to screw in this capsule a little bit farther until it stops hissing so you don't leak CO2. This gun features a plethora of cosmetic upgrades straight out of the box, those of which including a widened magwell to make reloading easier, an extended safety and mag release, a compensator, a charging handle, and a rail on top of the slide for you to add any optic you so please. These cosmetic upgrades are not really useful for woodland gameplay, but are more useful for competition shooting, where milliseconds count. Now you could always just take the top rail off the gun, but it features no front post or rear sight, so that would be a little bit problematic if you wish to use this during woodland, but you could make it work. I overall really wouldn't recommend doing this, and I would just leave it to competition shooting where it will thrive. KWC fully takes advantage of CO2's higher PSI than green gas or propane. Their guns are heavier, heftier, and are made to withstand such abuse from CO2. The recoil and hammer spring are much stiffer than what you'd usually see on a regular gas blowback CZ75, say compared to KWA's version. When you pull the trigger, it gives you a very loud metallic clank. The external body is completely made out of very thick aluminum. Not one part of the body is plastic. The recoil is much faster, crisper, and heavier than other gas blowback guns. These are a lot of the reasons why I like KWC. All of these traits are extremely common amongst KWC's CO2 gas blowbacks. With all of that praise out of the way, that's not to say there's nothing negative about going with a KWC gun. KWC's designs are much different than what other companies use, so finding replacement parts is going to be much more complicated. It's not quite as easy as buying a Tokyo-Marui clone where there are thousands upon thousands of parts that you can easily just grab off any website. You have to specifically look for a KWC designed replacement part. And not a whole lot of third-party companies make stuff for KWC's guns. A few do, like RA Tech, but it's definitely a lot harder to find. Usually this isn't too much of a problem. KWC's guns work great out of the box and come with a warranty, but it would be nice to have some extra options to upgrade, because, well, more choices is never a bad thing. But again, KWC does give you a great bang for your buck right out of the box. Speaking of out of the box, something strange about this gun is that when you pull it out of the box, the charging handle will be on the right hand side. This is kind of strange because most people aren't left-handed, but you can simply unscrew it and then screw it in on the other side since, most people are right-handed and that's where you're going to want it to be. This gun is mostly left-handed friendly. As I mentioned, you can move the charging handle from each side. And this gun is power strokeable, so the slide release only being on the left-hand side really doesn't mean that much. The safety is completely ambidextrous, but unfortunately the mag release is not. When the safety is engaged, you can pull the trigger, but nothing will happen. Disassembling this gun isn't really complicated, but it's kind of a pain anyway. You need to unscrew the 4 hex screws and take off the top rail, unscrew the hex screw on the bottom of the compensator, take off the compensator, eject your magazine, pull out the slide release, and then pull the slide straight forward out of the gun. With the slide off, you'll be able to access your hop-up unit, which is very similar to that of a high Kappa's. I found this hop-up unit to be fairly effective. Still though, to have to go through this entire process just to adjust your hop-up unit is kind of annoying. Keep this process in mind though. CO2 gas blowbacks are higher maintenance than green gas blowbacks because they don't have silicone oil naturally mixed in with the CO2, so you have to lube this gun up more than you usually would with your standard green gas blowback. As I mentioned earlier, this gun has a much faster, harder, crisper recoil than other gas blowbacks. For the most part, this is a great thing. It gives you a faster response time, it feels more natural to use, it's just what you want in your gas blowback. But with that said, you need to make sure your gun stays together. You'll have to constantly tighten the compensator on the front of the gun to make sure it doesn't fall off, and make sure you have a high quality red dot that can handle being shook around. This gun does have trademarks, but not only are they wrong, the slide should say limited instead of gold custom, and it's missing the made in Italy engraving under the safety, but they're just painted on in white paint. Ultimately, it's this white paint that makes you look at the gun and go, yep, that's not a real gun. Trademarks are one of those things. They can definitely make your gun look a hell of a lot better, or they can make it look a hell of a lot worse. Luckily for KWC, the attention to detail, other than the trademarks, is spot on, so it doesn't entirely ruin the way the gun looks. I may or may not be sitting here, sweating my butt off doing this voiceover because it's 90 degrees outside on May 1st in the Pacific Northwest, which makes absolutely no sense, but unlike me, gas guns work better when it's hot outside, so this is the perfect environment to test the feet per second of this gun. On average, this gun shot 325 feet per second, which is perfect for your gas blowback pistol. You wouldn't want it shooting any hotter or any weaker. Unfortunately, while I was filming the accuracy test, my camera's battery died, and I don't feel like refilming it. What I can tell you is that this gun is consistently accurate up to 110 feet away. It can hit targets farther away than that, but the grouping isn't going to be very tight, and you might not hit the target altogether. If I had to sum up the performance of this gun, I would say this gun isn't bad, not mediocre, but also not great, just good, which for a pistol made for competition shooting, leaves a little bit to be desired. That said, RA Tech does make upgrade parts for this gun, and if you buy them, this gun can compete with any other pistol out on the airsoft market for significantly less money than, say, a fully upgraded high kappa. What do I think about this gun overall? Is it worth your money? Well, if you're within its respected market, meaning you just want another gun to plink around with in your backyard, or if you're into airsoft competition shooting, you definitely might want to look into this gun. But if you're into woodland or CQB, I can't really see this gun being very good for you. Within its respected market, it's definitely something you want to look at, but I don't think it's going to beat its juggernaut of an upgraded high kappa. All in all, KWC has lived up to my expectations of them. They made another hefty, reliable, hard-kicking CO2 gas blowback, and I have to give them full credit. If you're looking at this gun in any way whatsoever, I give it 2 thumbs up, and it's definitely recommended. That's been my review of the KWC Gold Custom CZ75. Hopefully I'll see you guys over on my video game account where I'm much more active with talking to my subscribers through, say, live streams and things like that. If not, I'll see you guys right back over here for my next review. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time.
Someone asked in one of the previous videos, what is your favorite... What the hell is that guy's
So I forgot about that.
There's a glitch in the gun game where you'll have the knifing animation, but you're going super gangster with your pistol. It's like you're either trying to curve your bullets or you're trying to look cool, but it doesn't work.
This isn't Wanted.
We're right at the end of the... Everyone's sliding everywhere. We're right at the end of the snowstorm that we got. It was a little bit too warm for it to keep snowing last night, so we just got a bunch of freezing rain. So there is a bunch of ice everywhere now.